Good morning, everybody. It was a frosty, cold morning this morning. It's May 9th, and we had snow this morning. Now the sun's out a little bit, but I thought today would be perfect because of the frost to read about Robert Frost. I have a very cool old literature book that's from 1952, was published in 1952. And my dad was a teacher at Lincoln High School. He was chairman of the English department, and a lot of you knew him, Victor Brown. And this would have been a book that he used in 1952, or beyond that, I'm sure. And I'm going to read to you Robert Frost. He was born in 1875, and he hadn't passed away yet, of course, because he passed away in 1963. And in his life, he lived in California the first 11 years of his life. When his dad passed away suddenly from tuberculosis, his mother took Robert and his sister to Massachusetts. Because when we know about Robert Frost, we know that he lived in Massachusetts. That's what he was famous for, living in Massachusetts. He married his high school sweetheart, with whom he shared valedictorian honors. And she was actually ahead of him in class, but they invited him to do the commencement speech. Her name was Eleanor White. And I'm fascinated by their love story. I've been doing a little bit of research about their relationship and their love story, and it really is beautiful. She called him Rob, and I think that's so cool. So, I'm going to read you two of my favorite poems of his that were also favorites of my dad. And this is Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening. Whose woods these are, I think I know. His house is in the village, though. He will not see me stopping here to watch his woods fill up with snow. My little horse must think it queer to stop without a farmhouse near, between the woods and frozen lake, the darkest evening of the year. He gives his harness bells a shake to ask if there's some mistake. The only other sounds, the sweep of easy wind and downy flake. The woods are lovely, dark, and deep, but I have promises to keep, and miles to go before I sleep, and miles to go before I sleep. Often you hear that last stanza, the woods are lovely, dark, and deep, but I have promises to keep, and miles to go before I sleep, and miles to go before I sleep. It's very famous and very special. I love that stanza, those stanzas. Okay, sorry, I'm a little nervous. The Road Not Taken. Love this one. I love to picture it. I love the imagery it brings. Two roads diverged in a yellow wood, and sorry I could not travel both, and be one traveler. Long I stood, and looked down one as far as I could, to where it bent in the undergrowth. Then took the other, as just as fair, and having perhaps the better claim, because it was grassy and wanted wear. Though as for that, the passing there had worn them really about the same. And both that morning equally lay, in leaves no step had trodden black. Oh, I kept the first for another day. Yet knowing how way leads on to way, I doubted if I should ever come back. I shall be telling this with a sigh. Somewhere ages and ages hence, two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. I'm sure you recognize the end of this one also. Two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. I've seen many pictures on Facebook where people are in a woods and they see two trails go off in different directions, and then they post that, they quote that part of the poem. Fun fact, My dad had told us that Robert Frost actually visited our home, and I'm not sure the situation, if he was in the area or when it was, I have no clue, but he actually told us he had visited our home. So if anyone in this area knows anything about that Robert Frost had passed through here, maybe he had spoken at the high school, I'd be curious to know if anyone else knows about that. Have a wonderful day, stay warm. The sunshine is beautiful now, and the snow was pretty amazing this morning in the frost, but we're sure to have a beautiful summer, and have a beautiful day today.